Pete here with the Small Business Resource Center and PeteGustis.com. Just want to give an update on real estate in Pennsylvania. Of course, if you look at my quote, we're in an ever-changing environment. All businesses need to adapt to be successful. This is an important thing that I've always had a philosophy on. I'm going to explain what's happening in real estate in Pennsylvania. And I actually already have plans in place because of the coronavirus restrictions to be safer than the Center of Disease Control 30 days to spread requirements to still be able to operate real estate. Okay, so on April 8th, the Department of State put out this letter. I have a copy here. It's the information about limited guidance for appraisers, notaries, title companies, and home inspectors for transactions begun prior to April 6, 2020. On response to the spread of the coronavirus, Governor Wolf executed emergency disaster declarations in Pennsylvania. Subsequently, on March 19th, Governor Wolf ordered the closure of non-life sustaining businesses. I want to keep in mind, in other states, real estate's considered life sustaining because what people need is food, clothing, and shelter to be life sustaining. Just want to make that point clear. And I understand from a lot of people's point of view, the backlash has been real estate's not life sustaining. Well, you may not have to move, but there's a lot of situations where people do have to buy or sell, whether they have a job transfer, whether they have some other type of instance. I've talked to one instance that I heard about where a nursing person, their family member was selling a property and the family member was supposed to go into a nursing home. And now that sale is being held up and the nursing professional doesn't even want to go in the home because they're working in a hospital and they're worried about getting the old family member sick from the coronavirus. There's many situations where people may need to buy or sell, and now those situations are being held up. So despite this, I'm going to go through this and then I'm going to give you my opinions and a couple things that I have come up with, which is a plan to operate real estate and do it effectively. Since this date, the department worked with a consultation with the governor's office, and basically they came up with guidelines. So I'm not going to read this exactly, but March 6th, if you had a contract before March 6th, they're going to allow limited inspections, appraisals, final walkthroughs, in-person title insurance activities. Which would be no more than 2 people on site and exercising social distancing. And I'm wondering why it took them so long for them to come out with this, by the way, because keep in mind, this says they enacted this 2 weeks ago, and we're just getting this message April 8th. And any real estate business which is executed remotely is permissible. So keep in mind, if you understand how these guidelines work, I already have a plan to be successful. I'm going to explain what I sent over, but I have other plans already ready in place. For real estate contracts entered after April 6, in-person inspections, appraisals, final walkthroughs, title insurance activities are prohibited. This makes it extremely difficult to do business for most normal realtors. So, you know, I find this is ridiculous. If you're looking at the CDC guidelines, I'm not saying everybody just do whatever you want. There's nothing to worry about. Keep that in mind. People who don't understand this, everything is a choice. If you have to operate real estate, if you have to buy or sell, there has to be something in place like other states which will allow you to do that. If you don't want to buy or sell, nobody's making you do that. So we don't have to get into a confrontation or communication here where people are saying you're putting people at risk. You're not putting people at risk if you follow the Center of Disease Control guidelines and you're doing things properly. You're not putting people at risk if you're operating without actually putting anyone at risk. So my plan, which I had submitted online various different ways, is first of all, if you're showing a property, what basically would the strategies that I'm talking about will allow people to be safe, without breaking the Center of Disease Control guidelines. They basically go above and beyond the 6 feet to slow the spread information. Number one, if a buyer or seller is sick, neither one of them should be shopping for real estate unless it's a life and death situation or really has to be done. Number two, with prior permission from a seller, we would be allowed to have showings. Keep in mind, other states are still operating, but what we would do differently is a buyer's representative would go to the property, unlock the door, sit in their car. At that time, the actual buyers would go in the house, look around, leave. When they leave, the buyer's agent, they would go in their car, of course. The buyer's agent would then clean the door handles off, lock the door, go in his car, leave. Nobody met, and business is still able to be conducted. If we follow that, that is further than the 6 feet regulations that the CDC has. I actually have other strategies that I plan on using to implement to sell listings now and also after the slow to spread ends and we're allowed to operate. Main reason is for protection of myself and my customers. So keep in mind, I'm not saying let's put people at risk. The whole idea is to do this as safe as possible and to still allow people to operate. So that's what it's about. Like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what challenges you're having, and let's try to work through them. If you have to buy or sell real estate, that's what we're here to help people do. Have a great day.